welcome back to the PWG channel. Today we'll be talking about interviews. I know interviews can be very stressful and it's very normal to feel intimidated by the whole process, especially if English is not your first language. However, today I'll be breaking down some common questions asked, how to answer them, as well as some tips so that you can ace your next interview. So let's get started. Okay, so the first most common questions asked is, tell me about yourself. This is a classic opener for interviews, and it's basically an opportunity for you to spend 1 to 2 minutes to cram all your interests, experience, and achievements into one. I know it's a difficult job, but with practice, you can definitely develop a great opener and it will really impress the employers. A good tip is to practice this beforehand. Practice it with friends, families, or even in front of the mirror. If you feel like you often get nervous when talking about yourself, it is a great idea to have a list of some of your top achievements, things that you're proud of, or even just your resume on hand so you can use it as a guideline when you're talking about yourself. This will definitely create a really good flow and show a sense of understanding of your experiences and really sell yourself in a very structured way to your employer. Because remember, this question is about yourself, a topic that you should know really well. So it's just all about practice and sounding confident. With this kind of question, try not to go into specific hobbies or share anything negative about your life. Next, we have, what interests you about this job? This is such a common question, and this requires some research to be done beforehand, which we always advise before any interview. Do a little homework, look at just their website, and you can find a lot of information like what their recent updates are, what's happening in the company, and find things that interest you about it.
An excellent answer to this question would be to show that you identify with the company's objectives and that you have skills that you're willing to develop and apply at your new position. A wrong answer would be to talk about something simple that you cannot develop into showing why you are a good candidate for this case.
Remember, this is your chance to show your eagerness for this job, because your motivation can be a driving factor to whether the employer wants to hire you or not. You really have to sell the idea and the concept that you want to learn. You are willing to try and put in the effort and dedication, and this will really help build some confidence within the employer and allow them to believe that you will be hardworking at the job. Another question you will probably hear is, tell us about your international experience. This is not typically a common question for everybody, but when it comes to foreign workers, you should expect to hear a question like this. Lucky for you, most candidates who are being interviewed would be working abroad already or from a different country than Canada, so you would already have that extra level of skill and experience that most Canadian candidates wouldn't have. Showing that you've worked in different countries or different cities with different types of people shows that you have a level of adaptability. So believe it and don't forget to talk about it. You can take your time to share any stories or any perspectives you've learned and that you'd like to pass on to the company that you're applying to. These are all things that employers want to hear and will help them feel confident about you adjusting into this company. Even if you don't have too much international experience or none at all, you can still talk about what motivates you to work abroad and also explain that you understand the challenges you may face in a new country, like language barriers or any culture shock, just to showcase that you have an understanding of what is expected from the job. A common question that I always see come up is, explain a time that you've been in a conflict with a colleague. This type of question is basically to understand a candidate's behavior and personality. It gives the employer an understanding of how you will react in a negative situation at work. Especially because in Canada, if you are hired, you would be working with people with different backgrounds, different cultural values, and also working habits. Either way, when you're answering this question, please do not talk bad about another colleague or your previous employer, because that's going to reflect badly on you. Ultimately, it should be a positive answer explaining exactly how you were a solution to a negative situation at your workplace.
In Canada, it is best practice to use the STAR method when answering these interview questions. It's a great layout that helps you stay on track and make sure all the details of your answers are provided to your interviewer. It lays out the situation, task, action, and result so you can give the best answers to your interview question.
Lastly, and probably the most important question of it all is, what skills do you bring to the table or to the company? This is a great opportunity for you to really list out some of your key skills that you've gained from your previous experiences. Anything that is technical is always a plus. So consider your job, especially in trade jobs, things like working with metal, construction, woodworking, nursing, agriculture. All of these things are very specific skills that you have gained and will definitely impress the employer and add to what you can offer to the company. Even if you feel like you may not have too many hard skills, consider talking about some of your soft skills. You could have potentially known multiple languages, or you've worked 2 to 3 jobs in your home country. These are still amazing things to talk about because it still shows that you're very hardworking and you're organized and can contribute to your career prospect. All right, now that I have broken down the 5 most common questions asked and how to answer them, I do have some final tips for you before you attend your next video interview. Firstly, make sure that you have good internet. There's nothing worse than connecting on your call and having really bad Wi-Fi and reconnecting, as well as getting the time difference wrong. With international interviews, you really have to consider EST, EDT, and all the time zones that might be involved with your interview arrangement. So double check. You do not want to be late or too early for your interview. Also, remember that this interview is a dialogue between you and the employer. So feel free to speak up, voice out any questions or concerns that you may have throughout the interview, and show your enthusiasm. Also, after the interview, it is such a great idea to send a follow-up email to your employer, just really thanking them for their time and showcasing your interest in the job. And there you have it. Those are my key tips for acing that next interview. Thinking about what you're going to say and really rehearsing it so that you can come off as strong and as confident as you can during the interview. And for those who really struggle with their English, don't worry too much about it. Stressing about that aspect is really going to bring up your nerves before the interview. Just know that most people are aware of the language barriers, so just focus more on what skills you can provide and what you can bring to the table. And all you really need to do is sell your determination and your enthusiasm for the job, because trust me, your motivation is going to be a huge deciding factor in whether or not you're going to be hardworking at the job. So good luck, everybody. You've got this. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought of our interview questions and what are some concerns that you have when you are going through an interview. And feel free to like and subscribe for more content like this. Good luck, and we'll see you next time. Bye!